Dog, Frog, and Drunken Prawn. It sounds like the name of a storybook or a cartoon. Something about three unlikely friends who get into some sort of trouble. By using their unique talents, they're able to defeat whatever enemy they face. Any enemy, that is, except a chef in Shanghai. I didn't meet Dog, Frog, and Drunken Prawn in a book or on Adult Swim. I encountered them at a banquet hosted by the vice president of my university. In other circumstances and in other company, I would have ordered something else or made crass jokes in an attempt to hide my discomfort. In other circumstances, I would not have been served Dog, Frog, and Drunken Prawn. But I was not in other circumstances. I was 24, and the vice president was giving the banquet to thank two of my colleagues and me for work we had done on English reading and writing, a language program. It had been hard work, but good work, and I hoped to continue on the project my second year in Shanghai. So I was dressed to impress, engaging and witty, at least I thought so, and everything was going great. Then the food came. Okay, Marion, you're saying, what's so awful about prawns? They're just big shrimp. Think for a moment about a necessary condition for being drunk. You have to be alive to be drunk. You can be dead drunk, but you can't be a drunk corpse. If you're dead, you're just dead, not drunk. And that was the case here. They were not dead, just really drunk, hanging out in a bowl of Huangzhou. Other areas of Southeast Asia marinate them in the yellow rice wine before giving them a quick boil or steam, but not in Shanghai. Here they go from the bowl of wine to the mouth. The vice president was eating them just like that, and I was supposed to eat them just like that. While I did manage to try this delicacy, before I left Shanghai, I was only able to when my Chinese boyfriend bit the heads off first. On this particular night, I could only manage to giggle and hope that my hosts would chalk it up to Uyghur foreigners being uptight about perfectly good food. After many other dishes, a bowl of sliced onions was dumped on a sizzling platter. They hissed and steamed and smelled wonderful. Then a waitress dumped a bowl of meat on them. I shouldn't have asked. It was frog. No sentimentality here. I am terrified of frogs. To be more precise, I am terrified of their texture. My childhood nightmare was that my bed was filled with frogs, and if I moved even a little, I would touch one. Terrified. I have theories about this. But the 24-year-old version of me sitting at that banquet table did not have the perspective or the courage to confront those issues. I was loath to admit that here was yet another food I had hang-ups about, so I improvised. I filled my plate with other food and kept it full, and when someone offered me frog, I said, "Not just now, thank you." And amazingly, it worked. I kept the slimy nightmares at bay. And then came the dog. I grew up with dogs. My grandfather once resuscitated an aging Pippa with his own oxygen hose. There was also Tika, Buttons, Gifu, Ginger, Bogey, Cassie, James, Kevin, and finally Kiko, who my father initially wanted to name Daisy after his mother. No joke, dogs were family. On the table, it didn't look like dog, but my hosts announced it proudly, happy that their university could provide such a spread. I wish I could say that I refused to eat this dish for the sake of Tika or Pippa or the others, or that I ate in the same spirit of adventure that had brought me this far from home. But really, I was just embarrassed to refuse another dish. Embarrassed is not the right word. I was scared, not of the food I was choosing to eat or avoid, but scared of being seen as judgmental, someone who deemed the food graciously served to me disgusting. I reached out my chopsticks and helped myself to dog. It left me unsettled, but not in the ways you might expect. If I was in Shanghai to learn, why couldn't I try the frog and prawn? This experience got way too close to challenging how I saw myself, and I backed away from that challenge. Eating this dish then was not about any fear of losing employment, nor was it, unfortunately, about insulting my hosts. I ate because I was afraid of being seen as someone I was closer to being than I was willing to admit. Thank you.